Former competitors and now best friends forever. That is the Emirates and Flydubai relationship and how it's blossomed over the past few months. And that's what we're talking about here on Inside AB. Thanks for joining. Shay, your favourite subject here, the Emirates and Flydubai partnership. Now, it wasn't so long ago that we were talking about how they would never complement each other, but that's not really what's happened, is it?
Well, no. I mean, well, sort of, I guess. Flydubai was never really a budget carrier in the first place, wasn't it? I mean, the fares were only about 200 dirhams cheaper than Emirates. It was just further.
Right.
So now the piece by Bloomberg that we've covered in, which has been added to by Neil Halligan and a few other experts that we have, is about how about 2 years ago, Tim Clark wasn't very, let's
amenable.
say, yes, not enthusiastic at all about the idea of a partnership between its housemate, Flydubai.
Right.
Fast forward to right now, and they're actually like sharing a room now.
Right.
And by December, Flydubai will be lending at T3 10 of its flights and sharing space at what used to be Emirates' own dedicated terminal.
Wow.
So operationally, Emirates and Flydubai have reduced the minimum connection time between both flights, operations to about 120 minutes. Clark now says the partnership is a resounding success. And yeah, it's quite interesting to see how this has happened in all just a few months.
Yeah, the leopard's changed its spots.
Yes.
How much further can this go, though?
Well, Clark says plenty.
Wow.
What he says is, where Emirates' A380, the super jumbo aircraft and the B777s are receding from, Flydubai is jumping in. So Flydubai has now opened routes to places like Krakow in Poland, Kinshasa in Tanzania, because its 737s are cheaper to fly there. They're smaller aircraft, single aisle, narrow body. In return, what the Emirates has done, what Flydubai has done is retreated from routes that are better suited to Emirates. So Emirates flies its, long-haul aircraft to Bangkok in Thailand, to Dhaka in Bangladesh, and the Maldives, where honeymooners love to go and are willing to pay for a premium experience.
Right.
So there's a lot of demand for traffic, both to and from and through Dubai. Both carriers are working through that. There are 83 destinations. We have some information here that are available under the codeshare right now. It's gonna about triple to 240 by 2022. There are still 30 destinations served by both Emirates and Flydubai, so expect some changes there. But, one of our aviation analysts, Leonard Favre, who is the managing director of One Blue Horizon, he says that the real and bigger long-term challenge is going to be when they move to Dubai World Central, sometime after or around 2025.
Right. Why?
Well, I mean, you have two major airlines that are going to move to, one airport as opposed to, one airport divided into three places.
Yeah.
There's a lot of growing pains. It's not necessarily a merger. There's operational issues. You have, one larger aircraft, smaller aircraft, flight routes, timings that people are going to come in, a difference in like the duty-free experience, a difference in like a lot of things. So,
Fine. So this sounds like a great strategy so far. It's dovetailing nicely. Is there evidence in the numbers that it's working for them financially, though?
Well, that's what they're saying. Leonard Favre says, on average, the airline's return on invested capital this year will top the cost of capital for a fourth consecutive year. That's a good thing. Looking at the Middle East carriers, they registered double-digit growth in international passenger traffic this year, outperforming any other region. And they've taken into consideration the fact that the U.S. was a lot more aggressive in preventing people from flying out of the region to places that yielded the most money. Don't have that problem right now.
Right.
So it will take a while to figure out if the relationship will progress further. According to Mark Martin, who is a foremost aviation analyst out of Dubai. But on the surface, it looks like they're going with it and they'll make it work.
Okay, two words thrown about a lot: the merger of Emirates and Etihad. That's the big one that everyone's always asking about. What's the story behind this and the context to it, and would it ever happen?
Well, I'm going to change the slide here to set the stage. What the spin was when Emirates and Flydubai first announced their joint endeavor was called a joining forces. So not a merger. And it seems unlikely that a full merger is needed right now. Emirates is out of, what everybody called trouble. The profits are back up, things are better. Oil prices are going upwards, or have gone upwards over the last few months compared to where they were a year ago.
Yeah.
But Emirates is still, it's in the black, it's healthy, so it doesn't really need to take on the pains of absorbing another carrier.
Yeah.
It's a slightly similar, but also slightly different story out in Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi is further. And so what's going to happen is that Flydubai and Emirates can come towards each other at Dubai World Central. Getting Etihad to Dubai World Central just doesn't quite make sense when it has its own airport. Which, if you think about it, is another conversation because it's too many airports within 90 kilometers of each other.
Yeah.
But Etihad also has other problems. I mean, it has a financial, you could say it has a crisis right now. It's just bleeding money. Emirates and Flydubai are not. So to take another thing on would hamper more of the progress that Emirates and Flydubai could make together. One thing that Leonard Favre does say in his analysis is that there's a new airport out in Turkey, which is the world's largest airport right now. So that'll open up more capacity in Istanbul, which means that at some point, Emirates, Flydubai, and maybe Etihad will need to find how to really leverage Etihad's strengths as a niche airline with really fancy aircraft. Because if not, then you have Ethiopian Airlines, you have airlines out of China, you have airlines out of India, you have airlines out of Europe that are really ready to scoop up any piece of pie that Emirates and Flydubai and maybe Etihad aren't able to scoop up.
Wow, so necessity might become the mother of invention at some point in the coming years.
Very well put.
Yeah, thank you. Right, you've been watching Inside AB. Do let us know your thoughts, subscribe, share as usual, and we'll see you next time. Bye.